evening. A 17-year-old boy has appeared before magistrates charged with attempted murder after a shooting which left another teenager with life-threatening injuries in Birmingham. The 16-year-old remains in a critical condition in hospital after suffering gunshot wounds in Allen Rock on Wednesday afternoon. The accused has been remanded in custody and is due to appear at Crown Court at the end of July. 3 teenagers have been arrested on suspicion of attempted murder after a stabbing in Albury. A 19-year-old man was assaulted in Market Street yesterday afternoon. He remains in a critical condition in hospital. 2 17-year-old boys and an 18-year-old man were arrested overnight. Police are appealing for witnesses. Plans to move 83 asylum seekers into a new build development in the small Shropshire village of Stoke Heath have been put on hold. Conservative MP for the Wrekin, Mark Pritchard, raised concerns in the Commons last month. Around 100 people attended a public meeting last night. The Home Secretary, Shabana Mahmood, says robust processes have been introduced to ensure new build sites like Stoke Heath can never be considered again. 4 pro-Palestine protesters to face a retrial on charges of causing criminal damage to the Moog Aerospace factory near Wolverhampton. B. Sherman, also known as Frank, Hannah Young-Stevens, Hishan Al-Khamezi and Ian Evans were accused of smashing windows and solar panels at the facility in August last year. But a jury at Birmingham Crown Court failed to reach any verdicts on the defendants last month. Now, one of the most severely injured soldiers to survive the war in Afghanistan was in Birmingham today, revisiting the hospital that saved his life. John White was one of the first patients to be treated at the Queen Elizabeth Hospital in 2010. It's also home to the Royal Centre for Defence Medicine, which cares for injured service personnel. Rob Mayer reports.
16 years ago, Royal Marine John White was nearing the end of a foot patrol in Afghanistan. He stepped on a Taliban bomb which exploded, severing his right arm and both of his legs.
I was put to sleep on a helicopter probably 30 or 40 minutes later. After that then, and woke up 3 days later here in the Queen Elizabeth Hospital. I had a good idea that I'd lost 3 limbs before I was put to sleep in the helicopter. I do remember the first time that the sheets were pulled back and being shocked by how short my legs were. I think at the time I thought maybe both the amputations were below the knee. Clearly they're both above the knee.
Today, John returned to the QE for the first time and met staff who worked to save his life and aid his recovery, like physiotherapist Jay, who remembers working with him.
The last thing he remembers was being treated on the battlefield in Afghanistan, and the next thing is waking up here in the UK, in a strange city, in a strange hospital, not knowing at that moment what happened, and I can't imagine how that must have felt for him. It's not often that we get to see patients come back this far down the line to see what they've achieved, so it is amazing and inspiring.
I wasn't expecting to meet anyone that had anything to do with my care, and just super emotional.
John is now completely independent, juggling family, leadership training and an athletics career, representing Great Britain as a kayaker. His message to others: with help, there is nothing we cannot overcome. Rob Mayer, BBC Midlands Today in Birmingham.
Now, as you've probably just seen, England's World Cup game against Mexico could be brought forward from 1 AM on Monday to 7 PM on Sunday UK time. And for one couple from Worcestershire, the match is a clash of loyalties, as Ben Sidwell explains.
It's unlikely there are many places in the West Midlands who will have more divided loyalties than the Sefton family home in Studley in Warwickshire. In 1997, Mike Sefton took a 3-month trip to Mexico and ended up staying for more than 25 years. The reason? His now wife, Elsa.
I never for my friends, more intention. Oh, yeah, 11 months.
Yeah, we got married in 11 months and we did a week.
The couple moved from Mexico to England 3 years ago, but despite a love of both places, each will very definitely be supporting their own homeland.
Absolutely, 100% England, 0% Mexico. If there's a game I ever wanted to go to lose, it will be this one.
For me,
things for now at least are very harmonious, although that may change at kick-off. Oh, and in case you were wondering where the loyalties of Mr. Tuffy, the family Chihuahua, lies, I think that's blatantly obvious. After all, he was born in Mexico. Ben Sidwell, BBC Midlands Today.
The joys of Photoshop. And believe it or not, it was warmer here today than it was in Mexico City. And it's getting even hotter. Here's Shefali.
Hello, good evening. Well, the skies were fairly milky across parts of Herefordshire this morning, but there was enough sunshine to send our temperatures up to 25 Celsius, and they're set to get even higher over the weekend and into next week. So we're looking at heat wave conditions returning. High pressure's presiding at the moment. There are a few fronts to the north of it, but they'll generate mostly cloud, no rain, just the odd spit here and there. And the breeze is quite noticeable as well, which we'll be grateful for. But tonight, largely clear skies, that cloud just nudging into western parts, temperatures between 13 and 15 Celsius, maybe 12 Celsius down towards the southwest. And then tomorrow, fair amount of cloud during the morning, but the sunniest skies are towards the south. During the day, it's dry, it's hot with highs of 25 Celsius and a bit of a breeze from the west. And for those temperatures, by the time we get to the end of next week.
Well, that's all from the late team. I'll be back tomorrow at the much earlier time of 12:10, so do join me then if you can. Until then, have a peaceful night.